What's up, everybody? It's Joe with J Blake Photo, and looks like Canon might be giving us a ton of new lenses, so let's talk about that for a little bit. Alright, so if you've watched a lot of my videos on this channel, you know that I shoot with Canon and primarily with Canon lenses. And you've probably seen a lot of videos recently. Peter McKinnon just did one recently on the Holy Trinity. Jared Polin from Fronos Photo has some videos on this as well. So the idea that there are three lenses that every photographer needs, they're not all exactly the same lens, but the idea is you want these specific lens kind of ranges. And the first is a wide, which my wide is a 17 to 40 f4L. It's an older L lens. It's a super lightweight lens though, and it's my landscape lens of choice. It's actually what's on the camera right now. That's why I can't show it to you, because otherwise I would have to take it off the camera. So this is one of my favorite lenses. They're all my favorite lenses, but this is one of the best. This is actually the first L lens that I ever bought. And if you're looking for a landscape lens and you're looking for something super high quality, but you're looking for it at a low price, this is what I would recommend, the f4 17 to 40 f4L. Now there's also a 16 to 35 that Canon sells, and there are also some wider variants, but normally you want a wide for your kind of your landscape shots. Then you want kind of a mid-range zoom or a standard zoom. Normally this is your 24 or 28 to 70. I shoot with the 24 to 70 f2.8 from Tamron. The reason that I shoot with the Tamron variant is because of the fact that Canon does not make this lens in the EF mount with image stabilization. So this is Tamron's, it has Tamron's VC, which is vibration compensation. I don't know what all those acronyms mean off the top of my head, but I know it's a good lens and it stacks up against the L lenses rather well. So you've got your wide, you've got your standard, and then normally you want a telephoto zoom. So for my telephoto zoom, I shoot with the Canon 70 to 200 f2.8 ISL2. I don't know. This is the Mark II of this lens. They just came out with the Mark III with improved coatings. Looks like a really great product. This is the 2.8L IS2. Okay, so this is my 70 to 200. This is my zoom. So with those three lenses, I pretty much cover the entire spectrum. I also have the 50 mil 1.8. This is the cheapo, the nifty, thrifty 50. Which I absolutely love. This is a great lens. If you don't have this lens, you got to get this lens. Okay, so enough about my lenses. Let's talk about the new lenses. The reason that I bring that up is the fact that when the EOS R came out and Canon announced their new RF lens mount, they announced some cameras with it, but they really didn't have the entire zoom range covered. And now they made up for that because there was a really inexpensive adapter available that made lenses like this one, if you're invested in these, work just fine with the new camera. In fact, from what I understand, in some cases, it works better with the adapter on the EOS R. But if you want to shoot mirrorless and you want to shoot with 100% native lenses, there weren't a lot of options. So since the EOS R has come out, we have gotten leaks about a new, smaller mirrorless camera. I did a video on that a couple days ago. I will link it up here. And that camera is also, apparently, according to the leaks, going to be released with some new lenses, a lot of new lenses. So basically what Canon has done here is they have really just dropped the entire Holy Trinity of lenses onto the market, or at least they will if this leak is accurate. So the first lens is the wide, which is a 15 to 35 f2.8 L with IS. Now we don't know how many stops of IS that this is going to have. We'll assume it's going to be 4 or 5 stops. And remember, the EOS R, the R series, they don't have built-in image stabilization in the body, so you're dependent 100% on the image stabilization in the lens. So you need really good image stabilization in these lenses. So I'd assume, like I said, 4 or 5 stops. So the 15 to 35 f2.8L with IS. This is a super wide lens, not as wide as the 11 millimeter that they have currently, but wider than the 16 to 35 that it most likely will replace in the EF lineup. Next, you have the 24-70 f2.8L with IS. They do not currently sell an f2.8 with IS. That's why I have this Tamra. That's why I brought that up. But now I'm assuming that because of the additional size options that they have available with this new mount, with the new RF mount, they can fit the IS in there and they're able to do that engineering and make that work. So that is super exciting that they will finally have an f2.8 at that range with IS. They have an f4. Don't yell at me in the comments. I know that they have an f4 with IS. And then to round out the Holy Trinity, they have a new 70-200 f2.8L with IS. Again, we don't know how many stops of IS it'll have, but I would assume it's going to have the same additional coatings that are on the Mark III of this model, maybe even better. So the Mark III just came out a couple of months ago, and I would assume, like I said, it should be of the same quality, if not better, than what they have on that lens. Now, if Canon had just leaked that, if we had just seen that, I would be super excited because now it means that you have the Holy Trinity of native lenses available to Canon cameras in the mirrorless lineup. But that wasn't it. There's actually going to be two other lenses that are coming out. One is the 85mm f1.2L. If you're not familiar with this lens in the EF, this is an amazing lens. This is probably the portrait lens. I do not own this lens. I want this lens. If someone wants to buy me this lens for my birthday, it is coming up, but this is an amazing lens. So with that native lens, on the RF mount with the R or the RP, we should be seeing some phenomenal out of focus elements, some really great bokeh. Everything should be really good with that lens. I'm super excited to see this lens attached to the EOS R and to see how it performs. Now, they also did drop in the leak, there is going to be one additional lens. This is a non-L lens, so this is going to be their STM, their silver ringed variant with probably USM, which is a 24-240. That is a huge range. So we talk about the Holy Trinity, right? 20, you got, you know, your 15-35, your 24-70, and then your 70-200. This is a 24-240. So this covers almost the second half of that range in one lens. But of course, normally with lenses that have that wider range, you do sacrifice a little bit in quality, and you also normally sacrifice a little bit in how much light it can bring in through the aperture, right? So when you're jamming that much into a lens in terms of all those elements, and they've got to be able to coordinate together, normally you can't get an iris opening that is big to be considered an L quality lens like in your f2.8s or your f4s. So this one does have a variable aperture. It is an f4 to f6.3. So I'm sure f4 at 24 and then f6.3 out to 240 millimeters. I'm really kind of curious to find out how far that f4 goes before it drops down to 4.5 or 5.6 or 6.3 in the range, to be able to pick up a little bit more light. And also it's going to kind of depend on pricing. Some people really love those kind of all-around lenses. I personally prefer lenses that are a little bit more niche and your primes, just to give you a little bit more quality on the lens and on the light intake. But there you have it. We've got 3 new lenses in the Holy Trinity for the RF mount, and we've got 2 other lenses, the Portrait King and an extended zoom at probably a lower price point from Canon for the RF mount, to be paired probably with that new EOS RP camera that's going to be released probably sometime in the spring and announced probably in the next couple of weeks. So very exciting, always good to see new stuff, always good to hear about new tech coming out. If you like videos like this, if you like information like this, go ahead and hit the like button. That tells YouTube that this is the kind of stuff that you like, and that whether you clicked on my video because of the thumbnail or because you searched for something, that what you searched for or the thumbnail that you were looking for matched what my video had. It just helps the algorithm tell YouTube what's going on. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I am so grateful for all the folks that have been subscribing to my channel, giving me likes, giving me lots of great feedback, lots of information, and just ripping it up in the comments. Great discussion, just amazing discussion in the comments on some of my most recent videos. By the time this video comes out, I probably will have crossed 2,000 subscribers, which I know that's not, you know, the 2 or 3 million that Peter McKinnon has or the 10 million that Casey Neistat has or anything like that, but you know, whatever. We're all photo nerds here and we're having a good time on YouTube talking about tech. So if that's what you're into, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know in the comments what your favorite lens is of all time. What's the favorite lens you've ever shot with? What's your absolute favorite from all time? And I'm excited to talk with you about that. Go ahead and leave that in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.